What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Daniel Cormier likes idea of McGregor versus Ferguson's season of Tough. A potential season of The Ultimate Fighter featuring Conor McGregor has continued to receive plenty of attention. While the former two-division champion hasn't fought in quite some time now, he continues to hold the fight game in the palm of his hand. When it comes to McGregor, whether people are cheering for him or rooting against him, it's clear that they pay attention. As the Irish superstar continues to look toward his return, fans have continued to debate who they want to see McGregor coach against on The Ultimate Fighter, should he in fact agree to coach on the upcoming season of the reality show. From the sound of things, there's two real contenders for the role, Michael Chandler and Tony Ferguson. Ferguson took to social media to reveal that he was actually offered the coaching opportunity against McGregor, leading fight fans to question why the UFC would book the fight in the midst of El Cucuy's recent 5-fight skid. During a recent episode of DC and RC, the former two-division champion spoke about why he's all in on a season of The Ultimate Fighter between these two men, saying,
I absolutely tapped in. I think it would be funny to see Tony Ferguson and Conor McGregor doing the show, but also that's a fight Conor McGregor could win when he came back.
Of course, the former Paradigm Sports stablemates have been involved in quite the back and forth in recent years, with the two pulling no punches when it comes to one another. McGregor has notably fired the most scathing shot, mocking Ferguson's mental health crisis several years back. While a fight has certainly been a long time coming, do you think the UFC should book the fight at this stage in both men's careers? Give us your thoughts in the comment section below. Alexander Volkanovski doesn't want to hear excuses from fans after Islam Makhachev fight. Alexander Volkanovski is gearing up for his highly anticipated clash of champions against Islam Makhachev at UFC 284. With time winding down before these two men are slated to clash inside the octagon, the topic of Khabib Nurmagomedov no longer being in Makhachev's corner has continued to receive quite a bit of attention. While Javier Mendez has said that two of the three men in the champ's corner will be his usual team, the absence of the Eagle is sure to make things interesting. With Nurmagomedov recently stepping away from coaching, Volkanovski doesn't want to hear any excuses from fans when he emerges victorious. He spoke on a recent episode of the MMA Hour saying,
"He's done it before, and he's a great fighter. He's going to turn up and show up in the octagon anyway, even if Khabib was there or not. So I'm preparing the same Islam that I've seen. And again, things go how I plan on them going. Yeah, don't change that. Don't start changing narratives and start using all these excuses because it's the guy in front of him that's the problem."
How do you see things playing out at UFC 284? Give us your thoughts in the comment section below. Charles Oliveira calls off pursuit of Conor McGregor fight. Former UFC lightweight champion Charles Oliveira has no plans to call out Conor McGregor going forward. Throughout the course of his title reign, Oliveira continued to call for a fight with the Irish superstar, but with McGregor's broken leg, a fight never materialized. When he fought Islam Makhachev at UFC 280, the hope was that, with a win, he would set himself up for a super fight with McGregor in Brazil. Despite the repeated callouts, McGregor never responded to Oliveira. The way Dobronk sees things, there's no point in continuing to pursue the fight if McGregor won't respond. I've asked for this fight plenty of times, and he never says anything. I'll be ready to fight him the day he wants, but I won't call him out anymore. McGregor chickened out a long time ago. Like Rafael said, he handpicks his fights. I think he looks at the guy and thinks, I can beat this one, and then he signs the contract. He's right not to fight me because he knows what will happen. With Oliveira likely to return later this year against Beneil Dariush in a #1 contender fight, it's still possible that he clashes with McGregor in the future. Depending on how the Irish superstar's return plays out, the UFC could look to cash in on the hype before giving the winner of the Oliveira-Dariush fight to the winner of the Makhachev-Volkanovski fight. Before we continue, make sure you give that like button some love and be sure to subscribe to the MMA Zone for all of the latest news. Dana White announces crazy money for his Power Slap League. On the heels of a slight bump in viewership during its second episode, UFC President Dana White's Power Slap League is now setting its sights on the pay-per-view market. As fans and critics alike eagerly await news on how the third episode performed on TBS, Dana White has announced that the competition will hold its first pay-per-view event on March 11th at the UFC Apex. The event will take place following the UFC Fight Night Yan vs. Divashvili card in Las Vegas, and will see the promotion crown 4 champions in 4 different weight classes. In addition, the main event will contain the 2 coaches for the ongoing season of Power Slap, road to the title. So far, there's been no word yet on how much it'll cost fans to view this event, but with competitors reportedly earning a mere $2,000 to show and $2,000 to win, it'll be interesting to see how the card is priced. What do you think about the Power Slap League? Have you begun to come around to the idea and are looking forward to the pay-per-view? Or are you hoping that the madness ends sooner rather than later? Give us your thoughts in the comments section below. Hasbulla weighs in on Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski fight. Hasbulla Magomedov seems to have a foot in both camps going into the UFC 284 clash between Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski. Hasbulla has, of course, been a part of Team Makhachev since day one, given that he and the lightweight champion are neighbors. According to Makhachev, as of 2021, the two had already been friends for at least 10 years. On the other hand, Volkanovski and Hasbulla recently struck up their own friendship last year, resulting in the Dagestani internet sensation smashing a burger in the champ's face during his media tour. When Hasbulla flew into Abu Dhabi to watch Makhachev's clash with Charles Oliveira for the lightweight belt, he and Volkanovski reunited, creating a hilarious video where Magomedov beat up the pound-for-pound king. Hasbulla was asked about his prediction for the fight, to which he replied, "I think Islam Makhachev is going to smash him because I already beat Volkanovski 2 times myself. Once I smashed a burger in his face, Islam isn't going to feel him at all." So far, no word yet on whether or not Hasbulla will be in attendance at UFC 284 in Perth. Given all the traveling that the internet sensation has done since ascending to fame, his appearance at the event would draw plenty of attention from fans. And now for our breaking news story of the day. Jake Paul reacts to Logan Paul's sponsorship deal with the UFC. This week, Logan Paul, the older brother of controversial YouTuber Jake Paul, made headlines when he took to Twitter with a video teasing a deal with the UFC. Fight fans weren't quite sure what to make of the situation at first, with some wondering whether Paul had somehow finessed his way into a deal to fight with the UFC. Ultimately, it was revealed that Paul and KSI had partnered with the UFC to make Prime the official drink of the UFC. Given the obvious disdain that Jake Paul and UFC President Dana White have for one another, White's smirk in photos as Logan signs the deal left many wondering what Jake's thoughts were on the matter. Given that Jake has claimed to be an advocate for fighter pay in the past, despite repeatedly criticizing fighters time and time again, it didn't take long for the younger Paul brother to be asked his thoughts on the deal. He was quick to reply to the tweet. So far, no word yet on whether or not the fighters will receive any sort of financial compensation. According to the press release, the deal will see the red and blue corners renamed as Prime Hydration Zones, leading many to believe that Paul and KSI paid a pretty penny. Last year, the UFC came under fire when it was revealed that the Project Rock deal that resulted in fighters being forced to wear the company's shoes didn't actually see any money go to fighters. Nate Diaz famously let fans know that he wasn't a fan of the shoes during a backstage interview leading up to UFC 279, shining a spotlight on the issue. Considering the ongoing criticism the UFC has faced in regards to fighter pay in recent months, it'll be interesting to see whether Dana White fields any questions from media members about the Prime deal. Today's video was packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts about what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to see more videos just like this. See you next time.